The security guard had warned him twice already. "Sir, you can't sleep here. This is hospital property. I'll have to call the police." David Chen nodded. "I understand, I'll move." But he didn't move, he never did. He'd sit in his 2004 Honda Accord until the guard walked away, then he'd recline his seat and try to sleep for a few hours before the next shift change. David was 39 years old and living in his car, not because he was homeless. Not because he'd lost his job, but because his 8-year-old daughter was inside St. Mary's Children's Hospital fighting for her life, and David refused to be more than 100 feet away from her. Lily had been diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia 6 months ago. The doctors said she needed intensive chemotherapy, rounds and rounds of it. She'd be in the hospital for months, maybe longer, maybe forever if the treatment didn't work. David's wife had left 4 years ago. Just walked out when Lily was 4, no custody battle, no visitation. She'd signed away her parental rights and disappeared, so it was just David and Lily, father and daughter, best friends, everything to each other. When Lily got sick, David took leave from his job as a computer programmer, unpaid leave. He couldn't work and be with Lily, and Lily needed him. She was 8 years old and terrified and sick and in pain. She needed her dad, so David stopped working, stopped earning money. His savings ran out after 2 months, then he couldn't pay rent. His landlord evicted him. David packed everything they owned into his car and moved into the hospital parking lot. Every morning, David would wake up in his car at 6 a.m. He'd use the hospital's public bathroom to wash up, brush his teeth, change into clean clothes. He'd rotate between the same 3 outfits, washing them in the bathroom sink. Then he'd go up to the pediatric oncology ward, room 412. Where Lily was. "Morning, sweetheart," David would say, kissing her forehead. Lily would smile, a weak, tired smile. "Morning, Daddy." David would spend the entire day with her, reading her stories, playing board games when she had the energy, holding her hand through chemo sessions, wiping her tears when the pain got too bad, telling her jokes to make her laugh even though laughing hurt. The nurses knew David, they liked him. He was always polite, always grateful, always present. Some of them tried to help, bringing him food from the cafeteria, letting him use the staff shower when they could sneak him in. But nobody knew David was living in his car. He was too ashamed to tell them. Too proud to admit he'd lost everything. At 8 p.m. visiting hours ended. David would kiss Lily goodnight. "Don't leave, Daddy," Lily would say every night. "Stay with me." "I can't, baby, hospital rules, but I'm not going far, I promise. I'll be right outside." "You promise you won't leave me?" "I promise, I'll always be close, always." Then David would go back to his car. He'd eat whatever he could afford, usually a $1 menu burger or a package of crackers. Then he'd recline his seat, cover himself with a thin blanket and try to sleep while his daughter fought cancer 100 feet away. This had been David's life for 9 months, living in a car, surviving on almost nothing, refusing to leave because Lily needed to know her father was close. That he hadn't abandoned her like her mother had. Some nights security would bang on his window and tell him to move. David would drive around the block, wait an hour, then come back. Other nights police would knock and threaten to arrest him for loitering. David would apologize and promise to leave, then return an hour later. He was exhausted, malnourished. His body was breaking down from sleeping in a car for 9 months. His back hurt constantly. His neck was perpetually stiff. He'd lost 30 pounds. His clothes hung off him like rags, but he wouldn't leave, couldn't leave, because Lily was inside and she needed to know her daddy was close. Dr. Elizabeth Hayes had been a pediatric oncologist for 18 years. She'd seen hundreds of families deal with childhood cancer. She'd watched parents break under the weight of it, marriages collapse, families fall apart, siblings get neglected, lives destroyed by a disease that targeted the most innocent. But she'd never seen anything like David Chen. For 9 months, David had been there every single day. 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., 14 hours, never missed a day, never complained, never broke down in front of his daughter. He was a constant, steady, present, devoted. But Dr. Hayes had started noticing things. David wore the same 3 outfits on rotation. His clothes were getting looser, he was losing weight. He looked exhausted, like he wasn't sleeping. His hair was unwashed. His eyes had dark circles that were getting darker. And twice in the past month, Dr. Hayes had seen David in the parking lot late at night. In his car, not leaving, just sitting there. It was 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday when Dr. Hayes left the hospital after a long shift. She walked through the parking lot toward her car and saw David's Honda Accord in the same spot it had been that morning. She walked closer. David was in the driver's seat, reclined, covered with a blanket. Sleeping. Dr. Hayes stood there for a long moment, then she knocked gently on the window. David jerked awake. He looked confused, disoriented. Then he saw Dr. Hayes and his face went pale. Dr. Hayes, I'm sorry, I'm about to leave. Mr. Chen, are you living in this car? David's mouth opened, closed, he looked away. It's temporary, I'm figuring things out. How long what? How long have you been sleeping here? David was quiet, then quietly, 9 months. Dr. Hayes felt like she'd been punched. 9 months, you've been sleeping in your car for 9 months. I don't have anywhere else to go, I lost my job, lost my apartment, I have no money, but I can't leave Lily, I promised her I'd stay close. This is as close as I can be. Dr. Hayes looked at this man, this father who'd been living in a car for 9 months just to be near his dying daughter, who'd sacrificed everything to keep a promise to an 8-year-old. Why didn't you tell anyone? Dr. Hayes asked. Because I was ashamed, because I didn't want people thinking I was a bad father, because I didn't want Lily to know. She can't know I'm living in a car, it would destroy her. Mr. Chen, please don't tell her, David said. Please, she thinks I have an apartment, she thinks everything's okay. If she knew the truth, she'd feel guilty, she'd think this is her fault. I can't do that to her. Dr. Hayes pulled out her phone. I'm making some calls. No, please, you can't live in a car, Mr. Chen, let me help you. Within 2 hours, Dr. Hayes had called the hospital's social services department, the Ronald McDonald House, and 3 local charities. By morning, arrangements had been made. A room at the Ronald McDonald House, a facility that housed families of sick children. Free. David could stay there for as long as Lily was in treatment. Hot meals, a real bed, a shower, everything he'd been without for 9 months. Dr. Hayes also connected David with a hospital program that provided financial assistance. They paid David's overdue bills, helped him apply for unemployment benefits, connected him with job placement services that worked with parents of sick children. Within a week, David moved out of his car and into a room. He cried the first night he slept in a real bed, sobbed into his pillow like a broken man finally being put back together. But he never told Lily. She never knew her father had been sleeping in a car. As far as she knew, Daddy had an apartment and everything was fine. 3 months later, Lily's treatment was working. The cancer was in remission. The doctors were cautiously optimistic. She'd need monitoring for years, but she might survive this. The day they got the news, David held Lily and cried, "You did it, baby, you beat it. We did it, Daddy, we did it together." David looked at his daughter, bald from chemo, thin from months of treatment but alive and smiling, and felt something break open in his chest. Relief, joy, gratitude. That night after Lily fell asleep, Dr. Hayes came to David's room at the Ronald McDonald House. "Mr. Chen, can we talk?" Of course. They sat in the small common area. Dr. Hayes pulled an envelope from her bag. "What's this?" David asked. "Open it." David opened the envelope. Inside was a check for $50,000. David stared at it. "I don't understand. For the past 3 months the hospital staff has been talking about you," Dr. Hayes said. "About what you did, living in your car for 9 months just to be close to Lily, never leaving, never giving up. You became a legend here. I was just being her dad. No, you were being an extraordinary father, and the staff wanted to help, so we took up a collection, nurses, doctors, administrators, janitors, everyone. We raised $50,000, it's yours." David's hands started shaking. "I can't accept this." "You can and you will. Use it to get back on your feet, get an apartment, get a car that's not falling apart, give Lily a stable home when she's discharged." David put his face in his hands and sobbed. Thank you so much." Dr. Hayes squeezed his shoulder. "You sacrificed everything for your daughter, let us help you rebuild." 6 months later, Lily was discharged from the hospital. She was cancer-free. She'd need checkups every few months, but she was going home. Home to the apartment David had rented with the money from the hospital staff. Home to a real bed and a full refrigerator and her dad who'd never left her side. David had also gotten a new job, remote computer programming. He could work from home and be there if Lily needed him. The pay was good, better than before, they'd be okay. On Lily's first night home, David tucked her into her new bed in her new room. "Daddy," Lily said. "Yes, sweetheart. Thank you for never leaving me." David felt tears in his eyes. "I promised you I'd stay close, I kept my promise." "I know you did, I love you, Daddy." "I love you too, baby, forever." After Lily fell asleep, David went to his own room and pulled out the letter Dr. Hayes had given him at discharge. He'd read it once but hadn't been ready to process it. Now he opened it again. "David, I want you to know something. In my 18 years as a pediatric oncologist, I've seen hundreds of families go through what you've gone through. I've seen parents break, marriages end, siblings forgot, families destroyed, but I've never seen a parent do what you did, living in a car for 9 months just to keep a promise to your daughter, sacrificing everything, your job, your home, your dignity, just to be close to her. That level of devotion is extraordinary. That level of love is rare. Lily survived not just because of medicine. She survived because she had a father who refused to let her face cancer alone, who showed her every single day that she was worth fighting for, that she mattered more than anything. You gave her something money can't buy, proof that she's loved, proof that she's not alone, proof that no matter what happens, her father will be there. That's the greatest gift a parent can give. Thank you for being the kind of father every child deserves. Thank you for showing the rest of us what real love looks like. Thank you for living in a parking lot for your daughter. With deep respect and admiration, Dr. Elizabeth Hayes. David folded the letter carefully and put it in a drawer. He'd keep it forever, a reminder of the hardest 9 months of his life, a reminder of what he'd been willing to sacrifice, a reminder that love sometimes means sleeping in a car just to be close to the person you love. He walked to Lily's room and stood in the doorway. She was sleeping peacefully. Her hair was starting to grow back. Her color was returning. She looked like a normal 8-year-old again. David thought about the parking lot, the cold nights, the security guards, the police, the shame, the exhaustion, the fear that he was failing as a father. And he realized he'd do it all again every single night if that's what it took to keep his promise, to be close to his daughter, to show her that she was never alone, because that's what fathers do. They show up, they stay close, they keep their promises, even if it means living in a car. 5 years later, Lily Chen was 13 years old and thriving. She'd been cancer-free for 5 years. The doctors said she was cured. She played soccer, got straight A's, had friends, had sleepovers, had a normal teenage life. She never knew her father had lived in a car for 9 months. David never told her. He didn't want her to carry that guilt, didn't want her to know what he'd sacrificed, but David never forgot. Every year on the anniversary of Lily's diagnosis, David would drive to St. Mary's Hospital. He'd park in the same spot where his Honda Accord had been, and he'd sit there for an hour remembering. On the 5th anniversary, David was sitting in his car when someone knocked on his window. It was Dr. Hayes. "Mr. Chen," David stepped out. "Dr. Hayes, hi." They hugged. Dr. Hayes looked older, more gray in her hair, more lines around her eyes, but her smile was the same. "I thought I might find you here," she said. "You come every year, don't you?" "How did you know?" "I see your car, same spot, same day every year. I figured you were remembering." David nodded. "Hard not to. 9 months of my life in this parking lot." "How's Lily?" "Perfect. She's 13, cancer-free. She's everything I hoped she'd be." "And you, how are you?" "I'm good, really good. I got promoted at work. We moved to a bigger apartment. Lily's happy. We're okay." Dr. Hayes smiled. "I'm glad. You deserved a happy ending." They stood in silence for a moment. Then Dr. Hayes said, "I want to show you something." She pulled out her phone and showed David a photo. It was a plaque mounted on a wall. "The David Chen family room, dedicated to the father who lived in our parking lot for 9 months to be close to his daughter. May all parents love as fiercely." David stared at the photo. "What is this?" "After you left, we built a family room in the pediatric oncology ward. A place where parents can sleep overnight to be with their children. Comfortable chairs that convert to beds, showers, kitchen, everything. We named it after you." David's eyes filled with tears. "Why?" "Because you showed us what we were missing. Parents shouldn't have to sleep in cars to be with their sick children. So we made sure they don't have to. 15 families have used that room in the past 4 years. Parents who got to sleep next to their kids because you slept in a parking lot." Dr. Hayes squeezed his hand. "Your sacrifice wasn't just for Lily. It changed how this hospital treats families. You made things better for everyone." David couldn't speak. He just cried. After Dr. Hayes left, David sat in his car for another hour. He thought about the parking lot, about the cold, about the fear, about the love that had kept him there night after night. And he understood, sometimes the hardest thing you do becomes the most important thing you've ever done. Not just for you, but for everyone who comes after. He'd lived in a parking lot for his daughter, and because of that, other parents wouldn't have to. That was worth every cold night, every aching back, every moment of shame. That was worth